This general election, Najib Razak has blamed the coalition's loss of 22 parliamentary seats to Pakatan Rakyat on a strong swing of Chinese voters against Barisan Nasional, describing this as a Chinese tsunami.
I would agree with the Prime Minister that there is some level of polarization in terms of during the voting process, whereas the Chinese swing in favor of Pakatan is very huge. There are swings as well among the Malay and Indian community, but it's not uniform across the nation. It's in certain pockets. For example, in Terengganu, there is a Malay swing towards Pakatan, but in Kedah, the Malay vote swung back to BN. So the Malay swing is uneven, whereas in the Chinese swing, you can see it's nationwide. Even in Sabah and Sarawak, it swung towards Pakatan. So which is why I think the Prime Minister termed it as a Chinese tsunami.
MCA President Chua Soi Lek also declared the results of the general election as the beginning of a two-way system where the government is made up of Malays and the opposition as only Chinese.
The argument is because of the unprecedented support of the Chinese community, particularly for DAP and Pakatan as a whole. Ultimately, what you'll see is the opposition having a large number of Chinese representatives from DAP, and whereas the government will be mostly comprised of Malays, and MCA is out to make sure that happens. The fact that they have said that they will not join the government this time because they have performed worse than before. So effectively, the government itself will not have any Chinese representative, and in these coming days, we'll see how the Prime Minister is going to address this problem.
Ironically, the results showed almost half of the parliamentary seats that MCA lost to the opposition had been captured by Malay candidates fielded by PKR and DAP, namely in Lumut, Pandan and Raub. And in fact, out of the 15 parliamentary seats Pakatan wrested from BN in the peninsula, 10 were won by Malay candidates from the opposition.
But overall, still, it's a slight increase of Malay representation in parliament. So this is contrary to what the BN side tends to attack Pakatan. The fact that if Pakatan takes over or Pakatan gains more ground, it will become a Chinese. The Malay power will become threatened, the Chinese will dominate, it will become a Christian country. But the fact that despite these gains by Pakatan and despite DAP now becoming the largest party in the opposition at 38 seats, the total Malay representation has increased.
Aw says the gains made were also fairly balanced along party lines as DAP, PKR and PAS all captured 5 seats each. He also identified general voting trends of Malaysian voters that may have affected election results.
For this general election, in terms of the Chinese trend, they are not homogeneous, of course, but in general, they have a strong anti-government, anti-establishment sentiment. Whereas the Malay trend, it differs according to state. If you look in Terengganu, in Kedah, there's a contrast over there. So going forward, of course, race will play less and less significance. But for now, it is still a factor, and we have to consider that in order to do a proper analysis.